Isn't it crazy how Words with DatOneLady is turning 3 years old in about 24 hours? Oh my god, where has this journey taken us to?
Hi everyone, and welcome to Words with DatOneLady.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the podcast. Oh my god, like you heard earlier, the podcast is turning 3 years old in 24 hours, which is 28th of December 2023. And it's been interesting. Before we get into it, I would like to start with where did I disappear to? I was supposed to be doing like a weekly recap of what the year has been, and your girl fell ill. The stress of the end of the semester got up to her, and she wasn't able to continue for the last 2 weeks. I'm not even sure if it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks at this point, but for a couple of weeks, I think it's 2 weeks, I wasn't able to continue, and I hope you forgive me. In this episode today, we're going to do a full rundown of May, June, July, August, September, October, and our darling month November, and our darling month December, which we're completing in T-3 days, or T-4 days, I think. My numbers are not numbering, and my math is not mathing. Forgive me. 2023 is gradually coming to an end also, and Words with DatOneLady, our darling podcast, my baby, is 3 years old tomorrow. It is surreal. It's a beautiful experience and a thought. And to think that this has been a journey where I started it during COVID. I started 2020, 28th of December 2020. I remember posting my first episode, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself, and we see where we go from here. And I would say sincerely that I am grateful and happy about that decision of just posting and not caring how great and beautiful and awesome the episodes could be like and all that stuff. And I have learned along the lines, I have realized that podcasting is not a job, or it's not something that you just jump into. It's something that you need to put a lot of effort into, which I have not been doing so because, of course, I'm a student. I'm still working through school stuff. So it's been a journey. It's not been easy, but I'm grateful for it thus far. I think we have over 60 episodes. I remember telling somebody about this, and the person laughed at me because, 3 years. 60 episodes, that's 20 episodes per year, not good enough. But I think that I have done enough. I think I've basically done either 1 or 2 episodes a month in the past 3 years, and it's been good. I believe, it was sufficient. Do I want to do better? Yes. Are there plans to do better? Yes. Are there strategies to do better? Yes. Now, one thing I would not do going into the new year, which is our 4th year, is not put undue pressure on the podcast, which is saying that, I want to record twice a week, I want to post twice a week, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to stick to what I'm doing so far, post when I can, and once I'm done with all of this, school-wise, and I can say I'll put a structure to how often I will be posting, and all that good stuff. But I'm excited for the trajectory of the podcast, where it is going and all that stuff. So yeah, that's literally it. So if you are listening to this right now, you can either go to our Instagram at DatOneLady on Instagram and say happy 3 years, or comment, and wherever you're listening to, should it be YouTube or just the Spotify or whatever you are, send us an email, check our description, and just wish us good luck. And if there's anything you want us to know about that we can improve or do better, go ahead and shoot us an email as well, and we will gladly try to incorporate this in the coming year. Now back to reviewing the last few months of the year 2023. And like I mentioned earlier, your girl fell ill. If you listen to me very carefully, I am sounding super, super nasally because I have gone through spurts of cold. And even the period when I was not feeling fine, I was still doing work and stuff for school. And it almost seemed like the grind never stops. You kind of keep going. And once everything kind of slows down, I tried to rest for a few days. But yeah, back on my feet and trying to get back to this work. Let me see. The month of May. The month of May was the month of trying to get myself back to traveling. And I went for conferences, like I said earlier. If you've not listened to the other episodes, you should go listen to it. Because in the other episodes, I talked about January, February, March, and April separately. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the rest of the year. And from, I think, May to September, October, it was two things that were happening. I was busy collecting data, speaking at conferences, and collecting more data. I finished collecting all my data in August, kept presenting at conferences until October. School came back into session. I basically did not have a summer, and those who know me really well knew that. So the summer was like jam-packed with a lot of stuff. So whatever summer plans that everybody was having, I was spending it doing school stuff, even while I was at conferences. Came up to the month of November, where it was like a breather, writing up data that I already finished collecting and say submitting. And I must say that the month of May, June, July, August, September, October genuinely was a blur. It was a blur because when I go through, like, I always do, like, every time I want to record an episode, I always go through like my camera roll and just try to figure out like mindset and all that good stuff, maybe look at journals and stuff. And I realized that as much as I was in the space of traveling, I figured that I was also doing the healing process for my inner child. And that sounds very, very cliche. But I literally was going through that spurt of trying to figure out, who hurt you, woman? Like, why are you very stuck up? Why are you very like holding things close to your chest and not letting people into your lives or not being open to, sharing your life with people? But I realized that period, May to October, was like healing inner child, trying to learn and grow and be happy where I was and what I was doing, and realizing that the people that were in my life, my friends, my personal persons, they cared, they meant a lot, and, they had my best interest at heart. And, it's not like I did not know this before, but it's that thing where you've taught yourself to go through life all by yourself and be prepared for hurt and people to do terrible things. And then you now begin to tell yourself, even in all of that, you should be able to still open your heart to people and be nice and be cool, right? And not just close your heart to people. It's not like you're terrible, you mean, right? But you just not close up yourself. And, I would say that was a good process, because when I look back at it now, I for sure enjoyed traveling. I enjoyed every bit of it because I don't think anybody would tell me that they don't enjoy traveling. I for sure did enjoy traveling. I traveled, I enjoyed it. I remember I always recorded myself at every conference that I went to. I was always doing like a time capsule kind of thing, recording my mindset, the state of my mind, journaling, writing, trying to help my inner self, process whatever feelings I was feeling and process whatever, things that were going through my mind. And it was so helpful because I remember that coming into the month of November and December, I was more free. I was more open. And this is all to myself, not to any other person. I wasn't because I remember that in May to October, there was this constant fear of, what if things don't work out? What if things go wrong? Oh my God, you made a very terrible decision this year. Oh my God, why did you do this? Why did you do that? It's like this constant tattling with yourself and constant criticism of the steps you're taking. Not being calm and happy that you're taking steps to help yourself, but you're not taking steps that are detrimental, that although they might seem like it in that moment. I don't know if I'm making sense, but like when I look back, because I remember I told my friends that this year was like one of the years that I made the most crazy financial decision I've ever made in my entire life. And when I look back at it now, I am so glad and grateful that I made those decisions. They were not as terrible as they seemed to me in that moment, but trust me, when if I ever share with you guys are gonna scream like, "How dare you!" But when I look back now, I'm grateful I made those decisions. I'm grateful that I took the steps that I took, and I'm grateful that I also took time for myself to heal. Took time for myself to tell myself that things that have happened is not my fault. Whatever has gone wrong has nothing to do with me. But rather, that's just the way life is. Everything doesn't have to go right every time. You get rejections from applications. You get letdowns from things. Cause I remember going back, like even now, I'm going back at the video that I made in January about like where I wanted to be at the end of the year. And I'm like, oh, you've not done this yet. You've not something your thesis. You've not done that, And I'm telling myself, no, but you've taken step towards these things. You might not be at the end of it. You might not have completed the things you wanted to complete, but you've taken positive steps to get into that space you want to be. Isn't it? And it's okay if I've not even taken those steps. As long as I am that goal is still in my head, it hasn't changed. And even if it's changed, it's okay. It means I've learned something new about myself and I'm moving forward. That's a word vomit. But yeah, I wish somebody taught us how to adult. 2023 was that year of, learn, understand. Is that the way they say you would understand what God is trying to do eventually. Literally, I learned that this year from my friends, from myself, from family. I completely learned that this year. Because sometimes I'm like, God, I am your child. Why is this happening to me? Why? Can you explain yourself? But sincerely, I gradually learn about why things happen, from time to time. But yeah, 2023, interesting. November, I think I then started finding stability. I remember after traveling in May, June, I told myself I was done traveling, but I had other travels. There was some travel that I missed, and I eventually traveled again in October. When I was done in October, I told myself, yeah, woman, you gotta sit your ass down and focus. And my friend Akim will always say that, woman, you need to finish and get out of here and stop jumping up and down. But I'm glad I did the travels that I did because I visited new places. I think one of the biggest thing about my travels this year was visiting new places, experiencing life. And most of these travels were always done alone. And I also found myself in a country where it was predominantly white. And now, you're walking around across the street or taking a run and people are looking at you like, are you in the right place? But it was quite interesting. And I'm excited for growth that I attained this year. The growth that I attained this year was beautiful. At the beginning of the year, or while the growth was taking place, I did not understand it, did not get it, was pissed about it. But when I look back now and see the positive impact of this growth, I am kinda sorta excited because it means that I have set myself up for some good stuff going forward. In November, I settled back in to, get myself on track. And I remember that even in September, October, I was so terrible with my scheduling. I was doing so bad. Meetings were clashing. Stuff were clashing. I don't think I was as well prepared for things as I would normally be prepared for in a semester. I was struggling to keep up. I was making deadlines that I wasn't even meeting. But I struggled through it all. And like I already mentioned in the past episodes, when I graduated from my graduate certificate course in November, it kind of gave me this subtle feeling of accomplishment in a way, because on my vision board for this year, I had graduation, and the graduation was for my PhD program, and I was so far from it at October and / November. But when I graduated in November, it kind of gave me this sense of, you completed something. You have one more thing to go. Like, you're going to take those steps. You're going to do what you got to do, and you're going to pass. You're going to pass this level. Like, you're going to get through the PhD. And, I remember during my graduation, my friends that were there, were very, very generous enough to like be very encouraging. Cause, I think I fret a lot as a human. I overthink as a human, and, which is normal. Nothing wrong with that. But, I put so much pressure on myself to that it kind of was telling on me by the time we were in November. I was trying to do so much. I was trying to push so much. I was trying to get so much done. And then in December 2023, specifically last 2 weeks, my body's like, nope, we're done with you. I felt ill. I came down with a whole thing, and feeling much better now, even though I'm still nasally. But yeah, it's been an interesting year. And of course, the last few weeks as well, I've gotten some angers, of which I guess I'll share in the future. I'm not in a good space to share yet. But I got some angers, and when I think back at it, when I look back at it, I'm just grateful for the strength to keep pushing. I'm grateful for the tenacity to still believe in oneself. I am grateful for the people that are around me. I'm grateful for the family that continuously supports with prayers and calls and, care. I'm grateful for a lot. And mostly I'm thankful for the salvation of my soul, because imagine if I did not know God, I was not aware that there was a supernatural being who catered to me, or who thought about me, or who I kind of had a trust in. I don't know what I would have done with myself, or what I would have done in those days and those moments when I was all alone with my thoughts, and it just felt like everything was impossible. Also, I'm grateful for the strength to continue to be oneself even after tough times. Because there's a situation, there are times when you would have gone through a lot in your life and you just lose hope in self, lose hope in, people, lose hope in everything around you. But I'm grateful for the tenacity to still be able to remain who I am and be true to my character and my personality. Although there is growth, there's change, there's a lot of things happening, I am so grateful that I'm not losing who I am, and who I am is someone who's simple, who loves friends and family, who, thinks a lot about people around me, and is just jovial and nice and cool, and not too much to think or talk about. But imagine having to lose that, or even having to lose my will to be me, or my will to be very ambitious, my will to be, aim for higher stuff, or my will to know what I want and stick to those things. It's quite interesting. Imagine if I lose that, personality and just wanting to bend to whatever life is throwing at me. Life throws at me to turn to this person, and I turn over to that person, and life turns, twists me again and bends my fingers to be turned into this other person that I'm not, and I have to turn again. That'll be so hard to keep up with. But I'm grateful for staying true to myself, When I look back at 2023, one thing that I'm grateful for is, learning. It's interesting how we always feel like as we grow older, we have learned everything, that there's nothing new to learn. But that's not true. You literally learn every freaking day of your life. You're constantly learning one new thing or the other, which is so crazy. And amazingly enough, you can never know everything. That one's also something that I think was kind of news to me in 2023. I would always think that, you get to a stage in your life where nothing is new. But that's not true. Because you're growing, you're attaining new heights, you're getting to new horizons, and you're getting into new planes in your life. You learn every moment of the day in these new planes and these new horizons that you're attaining and moving into. If you're not learning anything new in your life, I guess you're becoming stagnant, is what I'm beginning to realize. I might be wrong and I stand corrected, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But as you grow, as you attain, greater heights, as you move up in your life, as you, struggle to meet those ambitions and goals that you want to meet, you seem to learn on every plane of life and every facet of life. And yeah, that's basically the whole year 2023. if there's something that I've done in the last like 1-2 weeks that I've not recorded an episode, is go back through journals, go back through things that I've written. And oh my God, I am so grateful that I write. I haven't posted on the blog in a very long time. I think the last time I posted that was in May 2023. And that's because, I need to not be doing too much, and I need to learn. That's another thing I'm learning, or have learned in 2023. So I took a pause on that, and I cannot wait to get back to it in 2024, hopefully, and by God's grace. But I looked back on all my journals and everything I've written, and I'm like, I look back and I'm like, I'm grateful for the learnings. Like, it's just so interesting, all the things that has happened. And you're just like, oh my God, this journal is full. It just reminds you of what your year has been like. So if you're going to the new year and you are looking for something to help your mindset, or you're not one that likes to talk a lot or share your problems with people, write. Take a book, just write it down the way you feel it. Now, if you're not one to do paper and pencil or paper and pen, take your phone. Every freaking phone that exists on the planet Earth today has a notepad, has a thing, an application, a software that helps you write. Write in them. Write your thoughts, date them, put a time to them if you will, and then go back to it after even for just 2 weeks. You will be so amazed at where your mindset is, or where you're at, and the things that you just put down in paper. I think it's very helpful. All my life, since I've known myself as an adult, or known myself to be who I am, I have always written down stuff. And I wish I could find like my writings from when I was like a teenager. It would be so great, because oh my God, I wrote things. And now, even only just ordinary 2023, when I look back, I'm like, oof, child. Anyway, I'm excited about the podcast being 3 years old. I really don't know where this podcast is going right now, but I will continue to record an episode at least once a month for you guys. But I have so many big plans for the podcast. I'm hoping for more. I'm hoping to bring guests back. The reason why I've not had guests on the podcast in a while is because of logistics purposes. When you get a podcast, when you get a guest on the podcast, you have to go through like scheduling and stuff. And my scheduling from like May, like I mentioned, to the end of the year was the biggest déchet, if you understand French. Déchet means trash. It's the biggest trash that ever existed in existence, meaning I was doing so badly with my calendar. Anyone who knows me personally and know me well knows that I would always find myself in 2 meetings at the same time, which wasn't because I had so much on my plate. It was just because I was doing so bad with me personally that I couldn't organize my life properly. So I'm hoping that at least from maybe April next year, we'll start getting, guests on the podcast. But guys, not to worry. We will still get our regular February episodes like we would always do. It might not be the video ones because, there's a lot coming on the podcast. So much good news ahead of us. But I'm excited. I'm excited about the podcast. I'm also very, very grateful for consistency. Because I know that for sometimes for the podcast, I've just been like, you know what? I don't want to record. I'm not interested. I don't want to do this. But I said, just come here and record. So I'm just excited. I'm like, oh, so great. I also want to take this podcast to be in full video and audio. And that's going to take a lot of planning and logistics and blah, blah, blah. But I know I'm going to do it. Can I do it next year? I don't know. Would I do it next year? I don't know. But I look forward to the greatness that this podcast has to, ahead of it. It's been a year. May, June, July, August, September, October, November. It went the way you went. And, we thank God for everything. We really thank God for everything. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And some of you also shared with me that the podcast was, one of your top podcasts for the year. And I'm grateful. My tiny little podcast made it to your top list on your Wrapped on Spotify. I feel honored. Thank you. To everyone who was listening to the podcast. We appreciate you. Over here at Words with DatOneLady, we thank you for all your commitment and consistency with us. We are working very hard to do better in the coming year. We're working very hard to make sure that we serve you guys with good content and good information and stuff on the podcast. We're hoping that we continue to bring joy to your lives when you listen to us and bless your ears with good sounds of goodness. But yeah, I think this will be the last episode for the year. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. For me, Christmas was great. I did a little bit of traveling, which was great. I'm excited to wrap up the year. It's been a lot of faffing in the last few days. And just so you know, it's the last few days of the year. Please do not try to put yourself under pressure to do so much work. Faff as much as you can. And if you don't know what faffing is, please go check it up in the dictionary. It's Faffing. That's the word. I have faffed. And I'm still faffing. And I'm going to be faffing for the last few days of the year. And then we'll kick it up again January 1st. And I'm not sure when we'll be back on the podcast. When we would resume the episodes for the new year, but I want to believe that we will be back with great work, with great content, with great, thoughts for y'all to ponder on. Okay, I'm saying so much nonsense right now, but thank you so much, guys, for 2023. And until next time, guys, have a wonderful rest of the year and a wonderful new year ahead. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it so much, don't forget to share. Let your friends know. Let your sister, brothers, uncle, mothers, fathers know about it. It can help anybody. This can help anybody at all. So go ahead and share it. If you also have a question, comments, things you like me to do more, or anything you like me to hear, go ahead and leave me an email. Check the description and you will find my email there, and I would love to hear back from you guys. Thank you so much once again, and until next time, keep living, keep loving, and ensure that you're living your truth. And until the next podcast, have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.